So now we have at least a good idea as to what these units of measurement, what they actually look like, where we see them, and that's important. But but there are a lot of occasions where we have to do what's called a conversion, where we have to take inches, for example, and change them up into feet, or to take gallons perhaps and figure out how many pints are in that gallon. Okay, and to do that, we use multiplication, we use division. Now, the way I'm going to show you, because we're in the middle of learning about ratios and proportions, right? That's the name of the chapter that we're on. It's ratios and proportions. And what I'm going to teach today is I'm going to teach you how to use proportions to figure out customary measurements. Okay. Now, so there's going to be some new information, but most of what you're going to see is exactly like what we did yesterday and the day before that as well. So there should be some very familiar things here that you're going to see. All right, so let's first of all, I'll give you a problem. And I'm going to show you how to solve a problem using multiplications. Let me put a little multiplication sign somewhere in your notebook like that. All right, here is an example of a multiplication problem involving conversions. If I have 7 pounds, okay, I want to know how many ounces. How many ounces are in 7 pounds? Jot that down in your notebook. Okay, where do you start? Well, here's what I want you to do. I want you to go back to your resources over here, okay, and let's look for pounds and ounces. What is the relationship between pounds and ounces? Find that for me. Ashley, what do you have? Yeah, but how many? 16 to what? To 1, right? 16 ounces. Point to that. Find that somewhere there and point to it. It's right here. 16 ounces to 1 pound. So let's take this, okay, watch. Let's take this and write it as a ratio. That would be 16 ounces to 1 pound. Okay, got it? So we made a ratio. Now we need to form a proportion. So I put an equal sign right here. And what do I have? I have 17 what? I mean 7 what? Pounds. So where am I going to put that? Am I going to put that on the top or the bottom? In this case, I'm going to put it on the bottom because I want pounds across from pounds, right? So the 7 is going to go here. What's going to go here? Yeah, I don't know how many ounces it is. So does this look familiar? Oh, heck yeah. I mean, this is exactly what we've been doing. Okay? So now I want to cross multiply. What is x times 1? 112. X times 1 is 112? All right. What is x times 1? Right. So x times 1 is just x. And now what is 16 times 7? Okay, I'll give Nick that one because he came up with that. If you multiply 16 times 7, that ends up equaling 112. Okay? 16 times 7 is 112. And what? Ashley said no. Okay. And we're talking 112 what? Ounces. So let's make sure we label our work on this. Okay? So really, this was pretty simple. All we had to do was just multiply. Okay? We set up our ratio, right? We built a proportion, and really, we didn't even have an equation to set up, but we just multiplied. Now, on the next example, put your scissors down. On the next example, you're going to see how we use division. Okay? And I'm going to need you guys to make sure you're doing all these steps. These things that I'm having you write down in your notebook, I'm having you write it down because this is the format that I need to see on your work today. Okay? So don't be doing your own thing. When it's time for homework and you got to work these problems out on your own, don't do your own thing. I want to see it. I want to see it this way. I had a lot of people in the last class who were like, well, wait, can't we just multiply 16 times 7? Well, yeah, that's what we did. But remember, what we're focusing on is using proportions. We want to be proportionally minded, I guess, in all that we're doing today. And that's why we're doing proportions, and that's why we're not just multiplying 16 times 7. Okay, so let's see now how we use division. Let's put a little division sign right there. Okay, and here's my example. If I have 48 fluid ounces, okay, I want to know how many cups. How many cups are in 48 fluid ounces? Well, what did I have to do here? Where did I start? I started by getting a ratio. What is the relationship between fluid ounces and cups? Look over here somewhere and find it. Hey, look at that right there. How many fluid ounces are in a cup? So my ratio would be what? 8 to 8 to 1. So let's write that down. We've got 8 fluid ounces to 1 cup. Okay? Now we build a proportion. What do I have? Fluid ounces or cups? What do I have? Look at the problem. How many fluid ounces? So am I going to put that on the top or the bottom? Well, bottom. Why bottom? I want to put ounces across from ounces right here, right? And so since ounces was in this case up here, then I want to put it up here as well. Now, I want to mention though, it doesn't have to be this way. If you set up your ratio 1 cup to 8 ounces, right? Then you would put it on the bottom. Bottom line is you want ounces from ounces and cups from cups, across from cups. What are we going to put down here? X. All right. So what is 8 times X? X? What's 8 times X? Thank you. 8X. See, now we're building an equation. 8 times X equals 8X. Write that in. Come on, you got to copy down every single thing that I'm showing you here so that you can use it as a resource. Okay, now what's 48 times 1? Right, 48. Dallas, I better see every single thing that I have written down on your page. Okay. All right. Now, does this look familiar? Okay. Cole, what do we do about this now? How do we go about solving this equation? Do what by 8? Yep. Okay, so if I'm multiplying 8 by x, I want to divide to isolate my variable, right? So I'm going to divide 48 by 8, giving me x equals what? 6. And 6 what? No, 6 cups. Okay? So you see how we did that? We started with a ratio. Okay, 8 to 1. We built a proportion. Okay? After we built a proportion, we created an equation. And then we solved for our variable equaling 6 cups. So a lot of good practice here, and that's why we're doing that. That's why we're not just saying, all right, well, you just divide 48 by 8. No, yeah, you do, but what's really important here is to be thinking about how proportions work, and then to also give you guys more experience with this little kind of pre-algebra stuff. Okay? All right, so let's practice some more of these problems on our own.